Is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. It is no late swap Friday. The day has come, James, over on DraftKings. That is right. The main slate for Friday, 7 games over on DraftKings. No late swap for this slate. Should be interesting. It starts at 7, ends at 8 p.m. They didn't give us any late games on this slate here. Injuries be damned. Late news be damned in the NBA. Because, James, there's no such thing as late injuries, scratches, or lineup news in the NBA. Should be a fun one if you like chaos and pain. Listen, they said that it's for the casual player, not being able to sit around their computers and run to make the necessary updates. So now we have to talk about the strategy. It does bring in a new strategy.
It does.
To roster building, because you've heard us talk time and time again. Last night or Wednesday night, rather, was an example of that where, we didn't know if LeBron James or Anthony Davis were going to play in that late game. We didn't know if Ivica Zubac was going to play in that game or not. We had to kind of maneuver our lineups around and give ourselves some flexibility to make the necessary pivots where needed if that news came. Now you can't. You basically have to decide, do you want to take the risk of playing a player that is going to be questionable or a game time decision on the slate, i.e. De'Aaron Fox, who missed the other night's game? De'Aaron Fox playing at the 8 o'clock window here in Minnesota. If, for instance, you wanted to take a shot at rostering him if we don't get that lineup news ahead of the 7 p.m. lock time, well, now you're at risk of playing a guy that's $8,500 and taking a 0, or you don't roster him and you save the money or roster somebody else and hope the ownership's going to be there. Injury guys tend to carry less ownership, so it gives you a little bit of leverage on the field, but there's a lot more risk because the potential of the 0. So as we go down and break down the slate, we'll certainly be hitting a little bit more on the injury news and talking a little bit more on options of guys that you could play instead, pivots, and just sort of assessing the risk of whether or not we think these guys are going to play. And as always, it adds even more of an emphasis to you be around prior to the 7 p.m. roster lock of these main slates, because any news that comes out ahead of time is going to be the only news you're able to react to throughout the evening. So just giving that forewarning here, we have 7 games on this main slate. There are some fun matchups on here to look at as well. James, how are we doing here, man?
We're doing well. I will say, we have not liked the late swap, and we've made that known. At the very least, this is coming on the back of DraftKings deciding to cut the late games out of the window. So at least those two things don't exist at the same time, right? Where we have, right. I think it's almost assuredly going to be only on slates without the 10 o'clock windows, right? On a slate where you have 10 p.m. games, where because they have come out and said, right, 6 games or more, they're going to run the no 10 p.m. games, right? Mm-hmm. So when you get a slate lower than 10 games, you'll have the 10 p.m. slate on it, and then you'll have late swap, because you can't have a 10 p.m. window and no late swap. You can't in the NBA. Like you just said, we didn't know until 9:30 yesterday LeBron James was playing, right? So, or Wednesday night rather. So it is definitely okay on slates like this where 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Now, like you said, we're probably not going to have the news, the DeAndre Ayton news, the Anthony Edwards news, the De'Aaron Fox news,
right.
those, right? As you alluded to, and that's something that we're gonna have to monitor throughout the day, get a read on, probably even more so what the beat writers are saying. But it is definitely a different strategy. Now, this is now this is great for you because you don't have to hear me talking about switching players in
into the
to
util
like
spot.
util spot because
Yeah.
there doesn't matter anymore. Like we're low.
Right.
So risk aversion. This is definitely something that you're gonna have to either get over a hump of, or you could play it safe, right?
You will undoubtedly catch a zero at some point if you play guys that are questionable in the later games.
Correct.
You have to be okay with that because there's going to be other people in the field that certainly will as well.
Right.
Or you completely avoid guys that have any sort of injury designation and you go that route, which a lot of people will. Again, we'll talk about the strategy as we go through it. We'll just jump into the slate here now. Looking at the matchups that are on the board for the 7 and 8 o'clock window. Cleveland, Detroit getting 9. That's a 222.5 game total. Charlotte, Philly here. Philly giving 11 at home, 216.5. Charlotte, second leg of a back-to-back here. They again lost to the Bucks. Dallas, Boston at home, given 9.5, 236.5 total. Golden State, Toronto. Golden State, second leg of a back-to-back. Toronto getting 2.5 at home, 237 total there. Portland, Memphis giving 3, 209.5 total in that one. Sacramento, Minnesota giving 6, 223 total. We have New Orleans and Indiana. New Orleans is giving 4.5, 238.5 total in that game there.
I love the realization of Memphis being
giving
favorites
3
in a game. Yeah, being favorites in a game. I mean, obviously, like they're super banged up, but they've been super competitive. Memphis has. So
no, when you have Jordan Goodwin and Jaren Jackson Jr., those things happen, right?
True. Well, Jaren Jackson Jr. not available in this game, and they're still 3-point favorites. So that goes to show you how bad Portland is. I think DeAndre Ayton is listed as doubtful. So yeah, it's an interesting slate. We just saw the Indiana New Orleans game. Tough scenes for New Orleans. Second leg of a back-to-back after flight troubles,
and they all played.
And they all played, but they just didn't look. Obviously, like as a team, they just didn't look great. So they get to get back at home potentially here.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best game on the board. Dallas Boston is great because like we don't know if Luka's going to play, but if he does, can Drew Holiday and Derek White slow him down? That's like the ultimate question,
you get
right?
Kyrie in Boston.
He loves Boston.
Hates Boston.
He loves Boston.
Last time I think he was in Boston, someone threw a water bottle at him, but
there was they caught him on the phone camera. He was talking smack about Boston. He said something. We could find that sound.
That's true. All right, let's get into it here. Point guard position. Lucas 12-1 against the Boston Celtics here. 74 fantasy points his last time out against Toronto. Against Boston, he went for 83 in that first meeting. He had 33, 18, and 13 there in that game in 39 minutes. So
seems good.
Yeah, he's okay. He's Luka. You know what the deal is with him. Halliburton's 94, Scotty Barnes 93, Donnie Mitch 92, Steph Curry 91. Those are your 9K and above guards. You can play them. You don't have to play them. However you want. I think they're all in play here for me.
Yes. I mean, Luka for sure. 12-1. Halliburton 94 is interesting. 34 minutes. The shot's just a little off. He's going to get the Herb defense again. So, beware there. Scotty Barnes continues to just be a menace. Approach another triple-double again. 39 minutes. That was great. Donnie Mitch, questionable. Interesting. Left knee soreness after 44 minutes. Makes you wonder if that's why we saw him kind of limited in that game and not taking shots. So that's something to obviously monitor. If he's out, there's a lot to like there. And Curry coming off a random 25-point double-double where he had like 13 rebounds. Like we always say, we said it on the Thursday slate as well. You can play Steph in a tournament. So like them all. I would say Mitchell's definitely a little risky, but dude, 9,200 is a great price tag for him if he plays against Detroit. So
yeah, I agree. Under 9K guys, you're looking at here: Kyrie, Maxey. We'll see Fox Cade Cunningham, 7,900 in tough spot. Anthony Simon, 75 against Memphis could be super appealing given who's going to be on that roster. Quickly at 72, coming out some strong games, and looking at McCollum as a bounce back spot.
Yeah, I love Maxey. Maxey's been really good. 5 straight games with 44 plus fantasy points, coming off 50 against Boston, where he went 12 of 24 from the floor. So definitely some Tyrese Maxey. De'Aaron Fox, tough spot, but he's been super good if you want to get there. Simons is very interesting. 26 shots in 41 minutes in that Miami Heat game.
Dude, no Ayton. They only have like Jeremy Grant, right?
Yeah, it's very bleak for them. Memphis has been really slow, pretty good defensively, but no Jaren Jackson obviously helps them. I'm okay getting to Simon 75. We've talked quickly a lot lately, like so much. Every slate. He has been so good for this team coming out of the break. 24, 24, 19, 28 actual points, 5+ rebounds in 5 straight games.
Yep.
He has 35 plus fantasy points in 4 straight games, including the 50 burger last game. Like Golden State's obviously been very good defensively lately. They had I just saw a number. They had 11 wins in February, John. They had 11 combined wins in December and January. So pretty good month for the Warriors. Getting Draymond back definitely is like you see his impact immediately. And just as a team, they're getting healthier, right? So they've been a better team overall defensively as well. But Quickly has been amazing. And they're catching him in travel, second leg of a back-to-back.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested in some Quickly at 7.
Yeah, the Quickly won the other night. My underdog plays, it was 23.5 points and rebounds, and you and I were watching it. I was kind of sweating it out. It's like, oh man, he's like 17-4. Man finished at 28 actual in that game. He just went on like an absolute tear late in that one. Yeah, and you were on him early, like 4 or 5 slates ago. You were touting Quickly here, so in with you on that one. If Donovan Mitchell doesn't give him, to let us know. We got Garland here at 68 against Detroit. Yep. Certainly an interesting spot here.
Oh yeah.
Do you think Conley plays a back-to-back? Not Conley. Paul plays a back-to-back?
No, probably not. But it also is only a hand, so maybe. Let me walk that back. It was a hand, so probably.
Just wondering, because I mean, if not, like that throws Podzingis minutes back, kind of where we need him to be, and all that other good stuff. Goodwin here, 4,700, played 31 minutes, didn't hit a shot, but nearly triple-doubled.
Dude. Almost triple-doubled.
Didn't 5, 8, and 8, went 1 for 8 shooting.
What's Jordan Goodwin's ownership? $4,700. With everyone
33.
Did you see I think it's gonna be
more?
No, so Kennard is doubtful.
Okay.
Rose is out. Rose is not going to probably play again this year. Concher is doubtful. Jaren Jackson is out. Gigi Jackson is questionable as well.
Okay.
I think he's going to be like 50
60%?
to 60%. Yeah.
Okay.
4,700 coming off like a game where you're like, well, now he probably kind of has to shoot, right? Like just considering that he didn't make anything, and like I don't know. I would say I'd take the over on 30%.
Okay. Anybody else down here for value point guards then?
I don't think we need to get to anyone.
Bruce Brown had a 5, 8, and 3. 4. The price keeps dropping on him, so
he just doesn't like. They just like. I don't know what happened with Bruce Brown, but the minutes
they traded for him. They wanted to trade him, and then they weren't able to trade him. So.
They weren't able to trade him. That's very unfortunate. I don't think so. Like Ben Shepherd played 28 minutes against New Orleans the other night. I don't know. Like, I don't think so.
Okay, shooting guard then. Donovan Mitchell, as we mentioned, is questionable here, but we'll know at least before roster lock whether or not he's in or out. Kyrie Irving, 89. Anthony Edwards is questionable with the ankle. We won't necessarily know before roster lock, per se.
Nope.
But he is $8,800. Ingram at 8K. Jaylen Brown, 7,630 actual in that game. The other 31 actual, whatever it was. 31 actual, $7,600. We talked Simons and RJ Barrett, 7K.
I'm okay with... I mean, Mitchell is a great play if he plays against Detroit. I'm okay with Kyrie and Edwards in tournaments. I think Ingram's a really interesting play. He was just 8 for 20, only played 29 minutes in that game, and had 30 actual because he got to the line 13 times. And it's a good matchup against Indiana. So definitely like Ingram. Definitely think Jaylen Brown is intriguing at 7,600. That price tag is too cheap. Coming off back-to-back 30 bombs. The minutes are back up for Jaylen, 35, 35. And anytime there's a competitive game, that's usually what we get for his minutes. So definitely interested in Jaylen Brown as well. I mean, and we talk about like Dallas quite a
back-to-back
bit.
30 actual games for Jaylen Brown here. I mean,
yeah.
Moving down after, I mean, you talked to RJ Barrett, obviously, many times on this show. 26 actual for him, continues to burn it. I know you talked to defense there for Golden State. Under 6K plays, Matherin here, 64. Vince Williams, you mentioned a very depleted Memphis team. Doesn't this feel like big time Vince Williams spot?
Definitely point Vince. Definitely point Vince.
Anybody else in the mid tier? Field, Monk, Clay, anybody?
Field's minutes kind of down. Obviously, Monk would be extremely appealing if we knew the De'Aaron Fox status. Monk is good in tournaments regardless. Clay for tournaments, if he plays second leg of a back-to-back. I assume he does, but if he plays second leg of a back-to-back, if there's no Donovan Mitchell, dude, Karis LeVert, forget it. Karis LeVert is one of the best plays of the slate. $5,400. 2 of the last 3 games, 55 and 47 fantasy points. And in 2 of those games, each of those games, he's had a double-double. 15 assists, 12 rebounds the game before, just like flipping which big game, like big number he has, just showing his versatility in both. He can score the basketball too. So if there's no Donovan Mitchell, Karis LeVert for sure.
Okay. Value guys under 5K. Obviously, I guess if there's no Luka, Tim Hardaway Jr. would potentially gain some value here. You don't really know what to do with Kevin Huerter, Zaire Williams. Again, just Memphis guys that are healthy bodies, I guess will have some value on this slate here. Gary Trent's 4,700. Moody started again. I don't know. What did he end up playing, though? Did he get any minutes in this one? Let's see.
He played 26.
All right. Moody started 4K. Grimes, $3,800.
26 minutes. Chris Paul played 26. Pajemski played 32. Curry played 32. Clay played 27. So interesting to see Moody get 26.
Yeah, agreed. Anybody else down here for value?
I mean, Zaire for sure would be the guy for me of like this entire tier. They have no active.
They have no active bodies. We're pretty much all in on. Is this gonna be like a 4-person Memphis?
I mean, dude,
they're favorites, dude, right? Like they're even favorites here.
Like the total is obviously horrible. It's 206 or 209, whatever it is. But like, what if GG Jackson sits? Then, it's Vince Williams, Aldama, Goodwin, Zaire, Lamar Stevens, LaRavia. Like that's their team. Yeah. So Zaire for sure would be like the one guy down here for me.
Right.
LaRavia 35.
I know he's shooting guard now.
Oh, are we at shooting guard? I skipped.
Well, we're on small. We're moving to small 4 now, so we can touch.
I thought we were no. I for some reason I don't know why I skipped ahead.
Well, they have dual positional eligibility, so it all works. LaRavia 35 for sure. Where is he? Is he even small forward eligible?
Yeah, he's 35 at small forward.
I mean, he should play more, right?
If there's no GG, I think he's like locked in for like mid-20s, and there's already no Jaren Jackson, so like we could see more run there too.
Right. All right. Tatum's at your top at $9,800. 58 fantasy points for him, nearly triple doubled against Philly. Under 10K. I mean, this is going to be a competitive back and forth game. Tatum always kind of has that in his bag here.
Yep.
We've talked Barnes, Edwards, Miles Bridges at 83, Siakam 78, Jeremy Grant 7K. It could be a 2-man show at him and Anthony Simons here against Memphis. And what do they have to defend Jeremy Grant? And then RJ.
Dude, Jeremy Grant he's a bucket. So I definitely, and if we get the bucket plus the peripheral stats, there's obviously a lot to like about Jeremy Grant at 71. So I could see myself get like wanting some exposure there. I think I like your Siakam call quite a bit. 7,800. I'm pretty sure his price went down too. It was over 8K. He's
Yeah,
coming off 40,
let's for a little bit, yeah.
49 and 50. I don't know. DraftKings a little broken at the moment, but 49 and 50 DraftKings points in 2 straight games, just big minutes, doing everything, which is what Siakam did in Toronto. On top of the Tatum call, obviously, I like all those guys.
Sure. Under 7K, Brandon Miller. We talked Vince Williams. A lot of these guys with dual positional eligibility. There's Herb. There's Asor Thompson. Neesmith to be in or not, I guess, down here. Fontecchio for some value. Anybody stick out to you? Again, 7 games, so the player pool not as large as it is on most of these slates here. And small forward depth. Either a lot of these guys we've talked about at shooting guard, or we don't really just like them in general.
I will say the All-Star Thompson minutes lately has been pretty great.
Yeah.
36, 35. That's pretty good. So I definitely have interest in Asor Thompson. If no Donovan Mitchell, I could get to some Max Strus. I think that's fine. We saw Simone go to the bench. He was still good off the bench, but only 21 minutes isn't great. Chris Murray's been playing like 30 minutes a night.
Yes.
He was really bad the other night, but he was good the 2 nights prior.
He's over 13 from 3 in the last 3 games here.
Yeah, he's
not his brother.
Not his brother. But I'd be okay getting to him or like Tumani Kamara, given like just the depth Portland is lacking. Tumani Kamara fouled out the other day, but had 17 and 10. I mean, that was a game we were watching that he was just grabbing offensive rebound after offensive rebound and just like putting it back. So some Portland value just given how shorthanded they possibly could be.
Sure. Obviously, if Anthony Edwards is out, NAW is here at $3,900. Would be a no late swap tournament play, right?
True.
Bank on Anthony Edwards sitting, and you get NAW at no ownership at $3,900. Or Anthony Edwards plays, and you hope that you get some production in the 20 minutes that NAW plays. So,
sure.
Power forward, a lot of these guys we've touched on. Towns against Sacramento at 82, Zion at 81 against Pacers looks pretty good there. I mean, 23 actual, secondary stats have dipped a bit over the last couple of games. Granted, he fouled out of this game against the Knicks, but still willing to give some looks there for Zion at 81. Porzingis down to $7,400 feels too cheap, man. What are we doing here?
That's very silly.
What are we doing here? Mobley 7,200 against Detroit feels really good as well. Toby, Draymond, Kuminga. What are your thoughts on the mid tier here?
Definitely. I mean, Towns. Like I think if Edwards is going to play the other day after in a back-to-back against Memphis, then Edwards is going to play through anything. So I assume Towns is going to get a team to himself. But if we knew that, then I would play him in Sacramento again over like anybody in this tier. Zion for sure. Dude, Zion, you mentioned it, tough 2-game stretch, like foul trouble, and then the injury, the plane ride, like that was a brutal stretch for it.
He's back home. He's got his personal chef,
personal chef. So I'm definitely interested in Zion, how good he was previously before those 2 games. Like, can't ignore that. But I mean, dude, you're right. Porzingis at 74 is stupid cheap. And then Evan Mobley might not have Donovan Mitchell. So there's it's a really, really strong 7K and above tier.
And dual positional eligibility here for these guys as well.
True.
Is useful, as we like to say. Under 6K guys, again, a lot of these guys we've touched on already. Anyone in particular stick out to you that you have interest in rostering, or are they just all dependent on roster builds?
I mean, Keegan Murray was good again the other day. It's hard to project, but he was once again really good. Dude, Naz Reid was really good again. 35 fantasy points in 26 minutes. He just continues to dominate. I do think Kyle Anderson being out helps Naz Reid as well. And so that's something to monitor moving forward. We skipped over Kuminga. I didn't mean to. He had another massive game on Wednesday. So I'd be good getting, or Thursday rather. Sorry, I'd be good getting to Kuminga 6,400. Him and Curry scored like all the points for that. I think him and Curry outscored the rest of the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, Kuminga scored 25, Curry scored 31. That looks about right. Only two other guys scored double digits. Clay had 16, Paul had 11. So
yep.
yeah,
So they had big games. So Kuminga like third straight big game in a row. Didn't mean to skip over him. If Ayton's out, maybe we see Jabari Walker extended, but I don't think they like using him at center anymore. But maybe because Memphis is so small, like they're gonna, without Jaren Jackson, who knows what they're gonna do at center. Lamar Stevens could be in line for a bigger role potentially. I don't, maybe.
sure. I mean, whoever's out, right? Well, they need bodies.
Gigi Jackson's also questionable. I don't know. Do you see anything else down here in like the 4K tier?
No, not really. Not unless people get ruled out here. Center Sabonis 10-2 is your top price guy. Then we dumps down. I mean, Towns 82, Gobert. We've talked Porzingis and Mobley. Allen's in the same range here. Jalen Duran will have his hands full. Ayton, like you mentioned, not likely to play here. Miles Turner had an okay night, 26 minutes. Draymond, I mean, what are your again? We rattled off 10 guys, not to be intentional on to blow by them, but they're all a lot of these guys we've just touched on already. If you're not going Sabonis,
if we're not going Sabonis, which it is a tough spot for Sabonis, I'm okay going to Gobert on the flip side of this matchup. Jared Allen was really bad in a really good Mobley game, so that's tough to get to. Miles Turner was once again good. Miles Turner has been super, super consistent lately. 34 more fantasy points in 6 straight and 8 of his last 9. So I'd be okay getting to some Miles Turner at his price. Jakob Poeltl was really good. You've talked Jakob Poeltl up a lot lately.
yeah.
He had a massive game, 45 fantasy points. He's now gotten 37 plus in 3 straight games. That's I didn't even notice Valanciunas only played 7 minutes in that game, by the way. Did not see that one. That's about it. I don't think there's anything else.
It's not really a lot down here.
No, I don't think there's much else, if anything.
Sure. All right, let's build a lineup. Where are we starting here with this slate? 7 games. Some decent matchups. Obviously, the Memphis guys we talked about here, so I guess that's kind of where we got to be. Goodwin, Williams, Laravia.
Goodwin, Williams, Laravia. Yeah. I mean, we don't know like who the official Memphis player, like who's in,
Andy's
who's out,
going to play a lot, right?
Aldama. Yep. Aldama's going to play a lot.
Where do we go like Simon's on the other side of this game? Just bring one back.
Yeah.
What else are you thinking? Zinger. We talked Porzingis.
Yep, Zinger.
Can we get Luka in here? $3,800 forward. Probably throw another Memphis guy, but
I mean, they start Trey Jemison at center?
True.
Who exists, or Lamar Stevens, like one of the two. Probably.
Just a little game stack. We'll throw Jeremy Grant here at 71, and then $8,800 brings us Maxey versus Charlotte. Have any qualms with that?
No.
All right, guys. It looks funny, but yeah, we got 4 Memphis in here. We got Goodwin, Williams, Laravia, Aldama, Porzingis, Simons, Grant, and Maxey as an example lineup on this No Roster Lock Friday. I'll have the playbook out for everybody. We will have all you guys need for the updates at 5 o'clock Eastern time when we go live. Just going to throw a quick shout out to our friends over at Better Edge. Go to fanstom.com/pick'em. You can sign up for the Better Edge Pick'em contest. If you haven't already signed up, you can scan the QR code, or again, go to fanstom.com/pick'em. New users who register, they do not need a credit card. You don't need to make a deposit. If you just register and confirm your account, you get $10 free added to your account. We run daily pick 6 pick'em contests each and every day here for the NBA slate. So make sure you sign up and download, or sign up and register rather, the Better Edge account there, so you get your $10 free and play these pick'em contests with us each and every day. James, good luck to you at your early roster builds. We'll be in the Discord, everybody. We'll talk to you later.